Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 11th race of Season 1 NASCAR Walmart Cup Series. I am the voice of NASCAR Walmart Cup Series, Levi McIntyre, aka Thrash Maniac 99, here to welcome you to the Southern 500, nighttime that is, here at Darlington Raceway. And before I get to the starting grid, I do want to point out some interesting facts about this track. This track is 1.33 miles around, so it's a mixture of an intermediate track. It's a mixture of an intermediate track and a short track, so this is going to be an interesting race. Plus, if you're caught up on the high line, be warned, you may scrape the wall and get the patented Darlington stripe. But that's not always a bad thing, but sometimes if you hit it hard enough and somebody's right there next to you, they could swoop past you for a particular position. And it's rare to see drivers try to go 3 wide at a track like this, and if they do try to go 3 wide, it may not work, and there could be a massive wreck. But those are some characteristics of this track, plus it's one of the oldest tracks there is in all of racing. But now we will be going through a quick run through of the starting grid. Michael Norman for the second straight race will be starting on the pole. Then his teammate Danny Wells second, Chris Washer third, Charles Jackson fourth, Ian Dutta fifth. Then it's Austin Weiner, Cody Lamas, Barney Taylor, Charlie Rodriguez, and Jessica Sheldon the top 10. Then it's Fred Schaefer, Nick Smith, Eric Burden, Cole Daly, Austin LaPlante, Dylan Young, Noah Hart, Daniel Day, Kyle Matthews, Chris Oliver, the top 20. Then it's Ian Siegel, Trent Dunham, Cameron Bailey, Cody Hagan, Seth Cole, Carlos Rodriguez, Jordan Kolb, Matt McIntyre, Henry Nova, and Zachary Fitzwater rounds out the top 30. Then it's David Rivera, Sonny Hammond, Tommy Mooney, Chris Dollarton, Henrietta Fitzwater, Dylan Thero, Chris Nelson, Nathan Hudson, Joshua Michaels, Ibrahim the top 40. Then it's Rue McIntyre and Chris Michaels rounding out the field. But we will be going green flag racing once they get past the start-finish line. This is going to be an interesting race, and it's 56 laps, so it's a long time for drivers to make moves and get themselves up into the front position. As the pace car pulls down in the pit road. Also, don't be surprised if we see rivalries brew at this track, but we'll see. As they're coming off of turn 4 to go take the green flag. And here we go. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys and girls. Michael Norman's going to have the preferred line, the inside line. And he's going to clear the 29 of Danny Wells. So yeah, that inside line is the preferred line to have at almost every track. But in some tracks, you may try to go through a high line or a middle groove and somehow make it work. And Michael Norman is going to come down to lead lap 1. And I saw Daniel Day scrape the wall back there. And they go 195 miles an hour going into that corner. And they don't really let off the brakes here because that's the widest part of the track. And look at that, they're now up to 200 miles an hour. Now this is where they gotta do braking because this is the toughest part of the track. Turns 3 and 4, and they come off there at 175. Michael Norman still leads the way. But Chris Washer is trying to find some line to try to get around Michael Norman as they both have pulled away from the rest of the cars. As you see back here, let's take a look at this battle for third right now between Cody Lamas, and he actually scrapes the wall, and Charlie Rodriguez. But here comes Fred Schaefer underneath Cody Lamas to take the 4th spot. And there's Eric Burden, our points leader, right there underneath the 31. As we go back up here, Michael Norman still leads the way here at Darlington with Chris Washer still running behind him. And he's trying to get underneath him into that inside line to try to get around the 3 car. And we are still clean and green, which is good. And Chris Washer, is he gonna try? Oh man, he was so close to getting underneath the 3 car and possibly take the lead. And Michael Norman is gonna lead the first 5 laps. Oh, Eric Burden got the wall. We are still green. Let's check back here, see who's running in the back of the pack. See Chris Nelson back here, and there's Ibrahim. Everybody's still very close together back here. There you see David Rivera. He's moving himself up 1 spot at a time to try to get up higher. Let's see where he's scored right now. David Rivera is being scored in the 23rd position. And there's Chris Oliver, who's back here in this mess. Let's see who's running 3rd at the moment. And it is Charlie Rodriguez, and Michael Norman still holds the lead from Chris Washer. Michael Norman's trying to put on a dominant performance and hopefully prevail and get a win, as we see back here a battle for 3rd raging on between Austin LaPlante and Charlie Rodriguez. And the caution flag is out for the first time. Who was in this? Oh, Fred Schaefer spins. Oh, Tommy Mooney spins. Ibrahim's got damage. Dylan Young, Chris Nelson, Sonny Hammond. Tommy Mooney had to teleport to pit road. Looking up here to see if anybody else has damage. It don't look like it. Oh, there's still smoke up ahead. Oh, there's Ibrahim on pit road. Tommy Mooney. I think Fred Schaefer only spun around. And there you see the damage on Dylan Young, the damage on Sonny Hammond, and Chris Nelson. So I believe we probably got away with a 6-car incident. I see a donut on the side of Daniel Day, and it looks like they're all coming down pit road. Yep, they are all coming down the pit road. So before we take a look at a replay, we're actually going to keep an eye out here on this battle on pit road to see who will come out as the leader, because I don't see any cars staying out. Everybody's coming down to try to get fuel and maybe even tires. We'll see. Let's keep an eye out here on the 3 car. Let's see what he's going to do. He's going to go, it looks like, with only right side tires, or at least for the time being. Let's see if he's going to go all 4s. Yeah, he is going with 4 tires. Same with Chris Washer. And Michael Norman's going to come out first. And Chris Washer, Austin LaPlante, Charlie Rodriguez, Ian Dutta, Kyle Matthews, Barney Taylor, Cameron Bailey, Cole Daly, and Seth Cole. That will be your top 10. As everybody else is coming through pretty well. So this ain't a very treacherous pit road. Whoa, and there was a close battle on pit road between teammates, the 8 and the 42. The McIntyres, as they call it, Rue McIntyre and Matt McIntyre. And well, look at this cluster back here. Everybody trying to find their spot. Michael Norman's going to go up ahead to try to get his lead spot. But anyways, while we're under caution, we are going to go to a replay to try to find out what brought out the caution for the first time tonight here at Darlington. Well, here's what brought out the caution. Fred Schaefer bounces off the wall and came down in front of the 39 of Cody Lamas into his teammate Tommy Mooney, and David Rivera actually got a piece of that. And whoa, that was a hard hit for Tommy Mooney into that inside concrete wall. And then, oh, Tommy Mooney came back up right in front of Ibrahim, Dylan Young, Chris Dollarton, Sonny Hammond. Let's take a look at this. They're back here in the back of the pack right here when this wreck starts. There you see the smoke. Fred Schaefer only just spun it around. He didn't get any damage, but look at this. Hard hits right there for all them guys. Up in that outside wall one more time. Super slow-mo. Ibrahim, Dylan Young. And Ibrahim's up in the air. And Sonny Hammond goes up to the outside wall. Chris Nelson gets a piece of it. Chris Darlington gets a piece of it. Daniel Day. There you see Fred Schaefer, who's stuck back there, but he didn't get any damage from this. But man, that's a tough break for the two of Dylan Young. This is the second straight race he's run into trouble. And before last week he was second in the points. Now he's down to fourth. He might free fall more in the points. And then he hits Ibrahim again. But man, oh man, that was just a tough break for all these guys. So we're going to watch this one more time. The 31 bounces off the wall and down into Cody Lamas. Into Tommy Mooney, David Rivera gets the outside wall pretty hard. And then Tommy Mooney hit the inside wall pretty hard. And Fred Schaefer did a great job of not hitting anything. And then up in front of the 2 and the 51. And then all the drivers who were in that piled in. Chris Nelson, Daniel Day, Chris Darlington, Sonny Hammond. Although some guys might continue, but some guys might end up retiring. But that was a look at what brought out the caution for the first time. We will now take you to the restart. Lights are out on the pace car, and updated of drivers who are out of the race. They are as followed: Chris Nelson, Tommy Mooney, and Ibrahim. Those are the drivers out of the race. Michael Norman still leads the way here at Darlington. He's led every single lap tonight. Chris Washer second, Austin LaPlante third, Charlie Rodriguez fourth, and Ian Dutta rounds out your top 5. Then it's Kyle Matthews 6th, Barney Taylor 7th, Cameron Bailey 8th, Cole Daly 9th, and Seth Cole rounds out your top 10. Then the rest of the field are Noah Hart, Danny Wells, Jordan Kolb, Ian Siegel, Jessica Shelton, Eric Burton, Carlos Rodriguez, Charles Jackson, Chris Oliver, and Cody Lamas as your top 20. Then it's Zachary Fitzwater, Cody Hagan, Henrietta Fitzwater, Nick Smith, Dylan Thero, Rue McIntyre, Matt McIntyre, Chris Michaels, Henry Nova, and Trent Dunham as your top 30. Then it's Austin Weiner, Joshua Michaels, Daniel Day still on track, David Rivera, same thing, Nathan Hudson, Chris Darlington, Fred Schaefer, Sonny Hammond, and Dylan Young rounds out your field. So, like I said, some drivers managed to keep the cars going, like Sonny Hammond, Fred Schaefer, Dylan Young, Daniel Day, David Rivera. It was 8 cars involved. 5 of them still are on track. 3 of them are out of the race. But we will now be going to the restart. We will be on lap 13 of 56. Which, if I'm not mistaken, that gives us about 44 laps to go here at Darlington. So we still got a long ways away from the race being over. As Michael Norman pulled ahead big time from Chris Washer. Now here comes Austin LaPlante to the inside of Chris Washer, try to take second. But Chris Washer somehow managed to get clear of the 48 of his teammate, and Charlie Rodriguez is in the danger zone up on the high line. But he keeps it off the wall. Meanwhile, Michael Norman still leads away. Nobody's really been a big test for him at the moment of this whole race. Charlie Rodriguez scraped the wall a little bit, but he keeps it fast and going. We're still clean and green, but now Austin LaPlante goes to second over his teammate Chris Washer. Not so much of the top 10 has been shook up, but we have seen some different people get to a different spot. As back here, Ian Dutta is up to 4th, Kyle Matthews, Barney Taylor, and I thought it made me go to the pace car, but anyways, we are less than, well, never mind. Michael Norman still leads the way. And then when they come around right here, it's 40 laps to go. And I thought I saw a car go spinning back there. Oh my goodness. Oh, and we got Rick, Charlie Rodriguez, Cody Lamas involved. Oh, and then we got another pile up. The 22 and the 8. Oh, and the 8 gets hit hard. Fred Schaefer's involved again, so is Chris Darlington. And Darlington gets hit by the 22. Whoa, the 2. Nearly came close to hitting that car. Chris Michaels was involved. Ian Siegel. Dylan Young got through it. So too did Sonny Hammond. But Cody Lamas was one of the starters of it. Fred Schaefer's got rear end damage, but he's still going. Charlie Rodriguez was a starter of it. Matt McIntyre got a piece of it. But man, oh man, that was out of nowhere. And now there looks like they're coming back down the pit road. There you see Chris Darlington. I believe his day is over because there's smoke coming out of that car. And these guys are going to make another pit stop. Probably to get more tires. I believe tire wear may be an issue in this race. However, I'm not entirely 100% on that. But man, Charlie Rodriguez has just been bitten by the bad luck bug ever since, I believe, Thornton. I believe that was the race where the Thornton or the race back at Talladega. I'm not entirely sure, but he's just not had the best of luck, except for last week. And now we're on the pit lane camera to see who's going to come out of the pits first. It looks like Barney Taylor's going to. I believe he must have took 2 tires and gas. Michael Norman second, Chris Washer, Austin LaPlante, Seth Cole, Cameron Bailey, Kyle Matthews, Cole Daly, Eric Burton. I believe that's your top 10. That when we get back to racing. So for the first time, we've got a new leader, and that is the 15 of Barney Taylor. Because I believe he must have took 2 tires and gas on that pit stop rather than take 4 tires like everybody else did. And nobody elected to stay out on track. Everybody came down pit road. But meanwhile, while we're under caution, we will take a look at a replay to see what brought out the caution for the second time tonight here at Darlington. Well, before we show you the wreck, I needed to take a look at this. It was with Carlos Rodriguez. He gets turned by the 21 of Chris Oliver, and how does he not wreck that car? He managed to keep that car off the wall, but then there you see up ahead, Cody Lamas actually got up into the 18 of Charlie Rodriguez. That's where the wreck first started. But then we had a situation of 3 wide happen between Matt McIntyre, Rue McIntyre, and Ian Siegel. And as up ahead, Rue McIntyre got hit by Chris Darlington. I believe it was Chris Darlington. Let's see. Yeah, it was Chris Darlington. And there you see Fred Schaefer get a piece of it, and he goes up into the outside wall in the rear, but he's still able to keep continuing. But we need to take a look up ahead to see what started that second incident between the 8, the 7, and the 42, I believe. Oh, the 42 went down the apron. He got loose, and he got up into Chris Michaels and in the 8 of Rue McIntyre and Ian Siegel. And here you see Chris Darlington, Fred Schaefer get in there. And then, I don't know if another incident takes place or not. Watch the 22. He hits Chris Darlington right there, and that's what got his engine to expire more. But wow, the 2 and the 17 almost T-boned the 34. But man, and that's a tough break for a lot of guys who are looking to get themselves a good finish and probably get themselves higher up in the points, but it wasn't meant to be, as there was smoke all over the place. And there you see Chris Darlington, Rue McIntyre smoking, and I believe that is Ian Siegel smoking, Chris Michaels is smoking. So I believe those will be the four new additions to the DNF drivers for this race. But that was a look at what brought out the caution for the second time. We will now take you to the restart. Lights are out on top of the pace car. Updated drivers out of the race, and they are as followed. Rue McIntyre, Chris Michaels, Ian Siegel, and Chris Darlington. They join Chris Nelson, Tommy Mooney, and Ibrahim as drivers out of the race. But we have a new leader, Barney Taylor, after going with a two-tire pit stop. He's going to be the new leader. Michael Norman second. Chris Washer third. Austin LaPlante fourth. And look at Seth Cole doing a great job, fifth right now. Cameron Bailey sixth. Great run for him going. Same with Kyle Matthews in seventh. Cole Daly eighth. Points leader Eric Burton ninth. And Jessica Sheldon rounds out your top 10. Then it's Noah Hart, Jordan Cole, Zachary Fitzwater, Trent Dunham, Henrietta Fitzwater, Carlos Rodriguez, Ian Dutta, Cody Hagan, Daniel Day, and Dylan Thero to top 20. Then it's Chris Oliver, Joshua Michaels, Nick Smith, Henry Nova, David Rivera, Nathan Hudson, Matt McIntyre, Fred Schaefer, Sonny Hammond, Dylan Young, Charles Jackson, Charlie Rodriguez, Austin Weiner, Danny Wells, and Cody Lamas. That is your top 35, and all the drivers still running on track, as the drivers I mentioned out of the race are out of the race due to incidents. But Barney Taylor is going to take this restart, but let's see if two tires can stay ahead of everybody else who have four tires. We'll see how this is going to work out in favor of the 15. If he can keep his car on the inside line, he might be able to keep the lead. But here we go. Green flag is out with about 35 laps to go. And Michael Norman's right on the back bumper of the 15 of Barney Taylor to see if he can get to the inside of Barney to try to get the lead back, and he hasn't been able to do it. But here comes Chris Washer to the inside of Michael Norman for second. And he's going to get to the inside. And Barney Taylor will lead away. But we're keeping an eye out here for this battle for second between Chris Washer and Michael Norman. Austin LaPlante making his presence felt as he's trying to go to the inside of Chris Washer. And Chris Washer's going to clear second place, but now that left room. But he blocks his teammate Austin LaPlante. But here comes Chris Washer trying to challenge the lead over Barney Taylor. But he stays back in line behind the 15. And we are still clean and green. And now here he comes to the inside. The four tires are going to work into his favor. But Barney Taylor's still up high. But Chris Washer has the lead. Austin LaPlante doing a good job of giving him a nice boost. And now Chris Washer has the lead. Austin LaPlante second. Michael Norman third. Barney Taylor will drop down to fourth as he gets in front of Kyle Matthews. So while we're at this, let's do a quick run through of the top 20. Chris Washer leads, Austin LaPlante second, third Michael Norman, fourth Barney Taylor, fifth Kyle Matthews, then Cole Daly, Eric Burden, Jessica Sheldon, Noah Hart, and Seth Cole, the top 10. Then it's Zachary Fitzwater, Trent Dunham, Henrietta Fitzwater, Carlos Rodriguez, Ian Dutta, Cameron Bailey, Cody Hagan, Nick Smith, and Jordan Culp. That's your top 20. And we are still green flag racing, which is good, as Chris Washer has the lead. Michael Norman's gotten himself up to second. And Austin LaPlante has fallen back. I believe he got caught up on the high line and he bounced off the wall. I believe he got caught on the high line and he couldn't get his car going. But now here comes Michael Norman. Is he going to go to the inside? He is. Michael Norman going to try to retake his position as the leader like he had earlier in the race. Can he clear Chris Washer though, coming off of 4? Doesn't have him quite cleared yet. Now he's going to clear him. So Michael Norman takes the point back as the leader. But Chris Washer's not going to give up easily. He's still right there on the back bumper of Michael Norman. And look who's coming up in the third. Cole Daly Eric Burden in 4th and Jessica Sheldon 5th. They're somehow freight training their way up through the field, and Barney Taylor just bounced off the wall. And Austin LaPlante has been like a sinking rock right now. Chris Washer trying to figure out a line to get around Michael Norman. Man, he tried going to the inside. He almost spun Michael Norman. That's how close it was right there. But we are still green flag racing here at Darlington. And it is now 27 laps to go, I believe, here at Darlington. But we are past the halfway point. But we'll see who's going to come away the winner. And now here comes Chris Washer to the inside of Michael Norman to try to retake the lead for himself. Eric Burden bounces off the wall. Hasn't gotten around him quite yet. And Michael Norman somehow kept the outside line going to get in front of Chris Washer and keep the lead. And now look who's coming in to try to challenge. Oh, and we got a caution. But I was going to say, Jessica Sheldon now going up to 3rd. But let's see who is wrecked. Oh my goodness. Charlie Rodriguez, Austin LaPlante, Zachary Fitzwater, Joshua Michaels. Somebody's smoking up ahead. Danny Wells. Danny Wells was involved. Henry Nova got a piece of it. 2 of the front runners of the race wrecked. Austin LaPlante and Charlie Rodriguez. 3rd time we've had a caution here at Darlington. And now these drivers are going to come back down the pit road to get some tires. But man, there were quite a bunch of drivers in that. Austin LaPlante, Charlie Rodriguez, Henry Nova, Danny Wells, Joshua Michaels, Zachary Fitzwater. And Austin LaPlante was a challenger for the win, and he got wrecked. Same with Charlie Rodriguez, but Charlie Rodriguez was back in the pack after he got in that incident with Cody Lamas. But now we are going to take a look at the pit lane camera, see who will come out as the leader, as nobody's elected to stay out once again. They're all coming down to get tires and fuel. But let's see what Michael Norman's going for. He's going to go with 4 tires. And it looks like he will come out as the leader. Chris Washer 2nd, Cole Dowley 3rd, Kyle Matthews 4th, Jessica Sheldon and Seth Cole, Noah Hard, Nick Smith, Ian Dutta, Trent Dunham, and Cody Hagan as your top 10. Let's keep an eye out for everybody else, see if they get through clean and there's no pit road incidents. Charles Jackson had a lengthy pit stop as he barely beat out Cody Lamas, and there's one more car back there. Let's see who that is. Is that David Rivera? Yeah, it is. He had a slow pit stop. But everybody's off and away, and I saw drivers go behind the wall to retire. But it will be Michael Norman as the leader, and while we're under caution, we'll take a look at a replay to see what brought out the caution for the 3rd time tonight here at Darlington. Well, here is what started the incident. It's going to be between the 55 of Eric Burden and the 9 of Zachary Fitzwater. Zachary Fitzwater gets a big run, and he didn't know that the 55 was there, and he sideswipes the 55 up in the outside wall, and that's what got Zachary Fitzwater spinning. But let's keep an eye out here. And, whoa, I saw cars just slide in there. Slow down, see if Zachary Fitzwater sideswiped anybody as he was coming down the track. Joshua Michaels, and that's what got him involved, spinning around. Same with Danny Wells, and that's what got his engine to die. But I don't know how the 48 of Austin LaPlante gets into this. Let's take a look at Austin LaPlante's perspective. I believe it's going to start when the 78 gets touched right there. He's slowing down to try to slow down to avoid, and he comes down into Henry Nova and into Charlie Rodriguez. Matt McIntyre got a piece of it. Eric Burden got a little hit right there on the driver's door. But yeah, that was what happened back there. But Danny Wells, he just sideswipes the 9, but it's like he hit it in that spot where it's like you don't want to get hit, but you did, and that causes your engine to die, and he slid up into the outside wall. Joshua Michaels sideswiped the 9, and it was enough to get him sideways and spinning up the track. As Zachary Fitzwater was coming down, yeah, sideswipe in front of Charles Jackson into the outside wall head on. So about a good 8 or 9 cars were involved in this incident. But it impacted the field big time as a lot of drivers was smoking, so we're going to have even more drivers be out of the race. But that was a look at what brought the caution for the 3rd time tonight. We'll take you back to the restart. Lights are off on the pace car, which means we will go green flag racing next time by giving us 21 laps to go. Updated drivers out of the race are as follows: Danny Wells, Austin LaPlante, Charlie Rodriguez, Zachary Fitzwater, Joshua Michaels, and Henry Nova. They join Rue McIntyre, Chris Michaels, Ian Siegel, Chris Darlington, Chris Nelson, Tommy Mooney, and Ibrahim as drivers out of the race. But a quick run through of the field, Michael Norman still leads the way. Then it's Chris Washer 2nd, Cole Daly 3rd, Kyle Matthews having a good run today in 4th, and Jessica Shelton making her presence felt in 5th. Seth Cole having a great run in 6th. Behind him in 7th is his teammate Noah Hart. 8th is Nick Smith, 9th Ian Dutta, and Trent Dunham running in the top 10. Then it's Cody Hagan, Henrietta Fitzwater, Nathan Hudson, Carlos Rodriguez, Barney Taylor, Chris Oliver, Dylan Thero, Jordan Culp, Cameron Bailey, Eric Burton, Austin Weiner, Matt McIntyre, Daniel Day, Sonny Hammond, Fred Schaefer, Dylan Young, Charles Jackson, Cody Lamas, and David Rivera. That is the 29 drivers left on the racetrack after those 3 cautions for 3 incidents. But Michael Norman has been the dominant car of the race. While we've had Chris Washer lead and Barney Taylor lead, Michael Norman has led so much of this race. We'll see if anybody can challenge him for the win, and now green flag is back out. Let's see if anybody's going to go to the inside, and so far nobody. They're still single file. But Michael Norman has been an impressive driver as of late. It's just back at Texas, he didn't get the finish he was hoping for. And then at Coca-Cola, he had the dominant car there, but he got a top 5. But here comes Chris Washer to the inside to try to challenge and get the lead back from Michael Norman, but not able to quite clear him. But now he's going to try, and now he's going to clear the 3. And look who's coming in to try to get 2nd. Kyle Matthews, Michael Norman's teammate. He's going to get 2nd. Jessica Sheldon follows suit. Same with Seth Cole. And now Jessica Sheldon going to the inside for 2nd place. And Michael Norman bounced off the wall, and he's going to lose a lot of spots. Jessica Sheldon to the inside of Kyle Matthews. Seth Cole now takes 3rd, and now Seth Cole's going to go to the inside for 2nd over Jessica Sheldon. Chris Washer has the lead at the moment, and Michael Norman's flopping like a rock, just like Austin LaPlante did. As he went from the lead, and now he's back out to right around the 9th or 10th spot, and he's going to lose more spots. And now Seth Cole takes 2nd away, but now here comes his teammate Noah Hart to try to go to the inside of Seth Cole, and he's going to. Noah Hart going to try to take 2nd away from Seth Cole as Chris Washer is just pulling away from everybody else. And now Noah Hart's going to get 2nd. Now Kyle Matthews is going to try to get back up into the 3rd spot. And now here comes Kyle Matthews, and Nick Smith is coming into the picture. Same with Ian Dutta, Cole Daly, and Nathan Hudson. Let's see where the 3 of Michael Norman is running at the moment. He's running right around 15th spot. Man, after that restart, he fell from the lead down to around mid-pack. Which is a tough break for Michael Norman, who had a dominant car, and he got scored 18th right there. So, man, after a restart, he falls from the lead to 18th. As Chris Washer still leads the way, Kyle Matthews second, Nick Smith third, Ian Dutta fourth, Cole Daly fifth. Then Nathan Hudson is coming in. He's sixth. Jessica Sheldon seventh. Noah Hart eighth. Seth Cole ninth. Barney Taylor 10th. And there you see Chris Oliver, Cody Hagan, Dylan Thero, Carlos Rodriguez, Trent Dunham, Michael Norman back in 17th. Austin Weiner, Jordan Kolb, Charles Jackson, Henrietta Fitzwater, Cameron Bailey, Eric Burden, Daniel Day, David Rivera, Fred Schaefer, Cody Lamas, Sonny Hammond, Dylan Young, and Matt McIntyre. That is the field. They're pretty spread out for the most part, so everything is good to go at the moment. As we are now, when they come to the stripe, it will be 13 laps to go here at Darlington. And look who's coming in to try to take... Whoa, there was some contact. Ian Dutta gets second, but he shoved the 20 of Nick Smith up against the wall. And that's going to cause Nick Smith to lose valuable spots. I don't think Nick Smith's going to be happy with Ian Dutta after this race. As now Nick Smith's fallen from third to, let's see where he's going to be scored. From third down to the 8th position at the moment. And now he's going to go down to 9th, possibly now 10th, because now here comes Nathan Hudson to the inside. We're seeing drivers who we haven't talked about all day running up here. Kyle Matthews is held up back in this. But Chris Washer still leads the way, as nobody's been able to get up to him. But now look at battle for second and raging. Cole Daly and Ian Dutta. And wow, Cole Daly got a great run. A great run. And now is he going to be able to try to run down his teammate Chris Washer to try to get for his second win of the season and a locked-in spot in the chase. But while that's happening, Chris Washer still leads, and he's trying to get his third win of the season, as we are now 10 laps to go here at Darlington. And we have been clean and green for a little while now. See who's that car up ahead. That's Matt McIntyre. He's running around 161. I don't know if he's up to speed, but I don't know. They may encounter him right around 2 or 3 laps to go. I'm not sure. Sonny Hammond not up to speed. Dylan Young, same thing. Meanwhile, everybody else is running fine. So far, no problems. And wow, Nick Smith is flopped. Nick Smith is back to right around the 21st spot after that contact with Ian Dutta that forced him to be from third. Let's see where he's going to be scored. 20th. He's down to 20th after that incident with Ian Dutta, where Ian Dutta forced him up the track. And that's what got him back here. Now Ian Dutta's fallen back. Let's see who's still the leader. Chris Washer's still leader, and they have encountered Matt McIntyre. We're going to see if that's going to help Cole Daly as he got close to him. But they're both going to go around the 42. But Chris Washer still leads. Cole Daly second. Noah Hart third. Barney Taylor up to fourth. Chris Oliver up to fifth. Seth Cole, Cody Hagan, Michael Norman trying to get back up there. Nathan Hudson and Ian Dutta is your top 10. As Chris Washer still leads. Let's keep an eye out here on the 42 to see if he's going to cause any problems for anybody. So far, they've been able to get around him pretty good. No real problems have happened, but now Nathan Hudson's going to get held up. But now he's going to go to the inside. Cody Hagan's getting held up somewhat right now because he's up in the high line. And And he's trying to get down to the low line to get around the 42. And yeah, and then Cody Hagan's getting held up. Poor Cody Hagan. Let's see if he can finally get down below, and he is going to finally get down low. And everybody else looks to probably... Oh, we got pit stops going down. Green flag pit stops for the first time today. Right now, the leader would be Chris Oliver. At the moment, Michael Norman's second. But these guys have not yet come down pit road. And we are near the end of the race as we are 4 laps to go. This is going to be interesting to see who's going to be the leader. Now here comes Chris Oliver, Michael Norman, Jessica Sheldon, Cameron Bailey, Charles Jackson. Chris Washer still sits on pit road, and now he's going to come out. Did anybody beat him out of pit road? Let's see if anybody did. Doesn't look like it, so I believe when they cycle back around, it may end up being Chris Washer as the leader again, but let's see who they scored. They scored Michael Norman as the leader last time, but he's in pit road, coming out of pit road, I believe. No, he's just now entering his pit stall. And I believe he's just going to go with fuel only. I don't see a tire change happening. Yeah, he went with fuel only so he could top off on gas. Let's go up to the 24 of Chris Washer to see where he's running at the moment. And there he is. I believe when they cycle around, it'll be 2 laps to go. When they get to the stripe, let's see where he's going to be scored. Chris Washer cycled back around as the leader. 2 laps to go, and I don't think anybody's going to be able to get up to him. So I think Chris Washer might have this win in the bag. But Chris Washer leads, and then it's Barney Taylor second. Chris Oliver third, Noah Hart, Austin Weiner somehow up here in the top 5. Then Ian Dutta, Seth Cole, Jessica Sheldon, Michael Norman. I believe that will be your top 10. But white flag is out for Chris Washer. Chris Washer is looking to get his 3rd win of the season. And man, this guy has just been an impressive machine this whole entire season. Despite having some races of having bad luck, checkered flag will wave. Chris Washer's going to get his 3rd win of the season, and he's going to get it, and he's going to win the Southern 500 at Darlington. Unbelievable performance by Chris Washer. Great job. And that was interesting that we had green flag pit stops go down with about 3 to 4, 5 laps to go, because they couldn't make it on fuel, obviously, so they had to come down pit road to top off on fuel. And Chris Washer got a fast fuel-only pit stop to get himself as the leader, and he's going to come away with his 3rd win of the season. Great job for Chris Washer. As everybody's going into their pit stalls to teleport out of the race, so that way the race is officially over. But the race is officially over, and let's take a look at the results. Chris Washer gets his 3rd win of the season. Great job for Chris Washer. I say now, I said before he's locked in the chase, but now he is officially going to be in the chase due to his 3 wins. So great job for Chris Washer. He's now the first official driver to be in the chase for the championship when we get down to the final 10 races of the season. Barney Taylor second. Great job for him. He's going to move up pretty high in the points. Sorry, I had a little thing come up on my computer, but Barney Taylor's going to get second. Noah Hart, great run of 3rd for him. He was running around the top 15, top 10 all day long, and he comes away with a 3rd place finish. Great job for him. And look at 4th place, Austin Weiner. Great run for him. We didn't talk about him all night long, and he somehow got away with a 4th place finish. Great run for him. That's going to move him up into the top 10 in points for sure. And then Ian Dutta rounds out your top 5. Great run for him. Jessica Sheldon desperately needed to get herself a good run one more time, as she had been dropping in the points after being the points leader for a couple races. Last 2 weeks, fallen from the points lead down to 8th, but this run could get her back up into the top 5, as some guys up in front of her in points like Dylan Young had troubles. So we'll see what's going to happen with the points once you see them at the end of the video. But Jessica Sheldon gets 3rd. Great run for her. Chris Oliver 7th. He was running in that top 10 pretty much all night. He's going to come away with 7th. Seth Cole, great run of 8th for him. He was in that top 10 pretty much most of the night. Michael Norman, the dominant car of the race, had the lead, and after that final restart, he fell back like a rock, and he couldn't recover. But he's going to come away with a top 10 finish of 9th. Great run for him, though he had the dominant car of the race. And Kyle Matthews, great run of 10th for him. We'll see how far up that will move him into the points. Charles Jackson, another really good finish, 11th. Cole Daly, who was running in that top 10 most of the night, he's going to get 12th after that cycled around pit stop. Cody Hagan, 13th. Great run for him. Cameron Bailey, 14th. Good job for him. And then Nick Smith, 15th. I believe Nick Smith's he's not going to have kind words to say about Ian Dutta after this because of what happened between the two, where Ian Dutta made contact with the 20 and forced him up to the wall and caused him to lose valuable positions. But he's going to come away with 15th. Points leader Eric Burton, 16th. And then Daniel Day, Henrietta Fitzwater, David Rivera, and Carlos Rodriguez was your top 20. And then it was Fred Schaefer, 21st. Then it was Cody Lamas, Nathan Hudson. He somehow fell back here after he was running around the top 10 at the time. He falls back and finishes in 23rd. Jordan Cole, 24th. And then the last car on the lead lap was Dylan Thero in 25th. Everybody else was a lap down or out of the race, and the 4 cars who ended up a lap down after the pit stops happened: Trent Dunham, who was running 10th at the final restart, Sonny Hammond, Dylan Young, and Matt McIntyre. And then everybody else was out of the race: Danny Wells, Austin LaPlante, Charlie Rodriguez, Zachary Fitzwater, Joshua Michaels, Henry Nova, Rue McIntyre, Chris Michaels, Ian Siegel, Chris Dollarton, Chris Nelson, Tommy Mooney, Ibrahim. So with now the points situation, the points coming into the race, Chris Washer was 15 points behind Eric Burton. Chris Washer won, Eric Burton finished in 16th. So he got 15 points, so if there wasn't extra points involved, they would be tied for the points lead. But since Chris Washer got the 3 extra points for the win and an extra bonus point for leading a lap or so, Chris Washer is going to have a 4-point lead, I believe, over Eric Burton when we come to the next race, which will be the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte. But we're not going to that the next time we race. The next race we're going to be running is our second of 3 non-points races, and it is the All-Star Challenge, the All-Star Race at Charlotte. And in that race, I know I've said before that I was going to do every single car in the field for that race, but you know what? I've decided how I'm going to do that. I am going to have the All-Star Race be the top 20 drivers who have a win, or the top drivers in points who don't have a win. 20 drivers are locked into the All-Star Race. Everybody else will have to race their way in to the All-Star Race. So we're going to do a 10-lap with no cautions, a 10-lap race with no cautions of the All-Star Open, where everybody else will have to race their way in. And here's what's going to happen. When you guys post your comments below, I want you to put in a comment to where you see the list of drivers at the end of this video who will be in the All-Star race. And for anybody else who isn't going to be in the All-Star race, I want you guys to put in a vote in the comment section below as to who do you want to see be voted in to the All-Star race. And so what's going to happen with the Open, the drivers who finished first, second, and third, whoever finishes that in the Open, they will be in the All-Star race along with a fan vote driver. So it will be 24 drivers running the All-Star race. But like I said, for the fan vote, put in a comment below in the video once you see the list of drivers in the race and not in the race. Then you will find out who to vote for to get into the All-Star race. But anyways, thank you guys for watching the Southern 500. Congratulations to Chris Washer for picking up his third win of the season. But now you're going to see the results one more time, the points, and the entry list for the All-Star race and the drivers to vote for. Thank you, and so long.